Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and the Kansas City Chiefs have won the Super Bowl. Wow. What a game this was. I have some thoughts on the way this game went down, but in all honesty, I this was one of the greatest Super Bowls I've seen in a while. Looking back at the last the last four Super Bowls that I've seen, just not been it for me. Last five, I guess. Last season wasn't that great. It was a good game, but just wasn't that exciting between the Bengals and the Rams. The year before, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers defense just kicked the Chiefs' ass. The year before that, it was okay. It was okay because the Chiefs, Mahomes won his first Super Bowl, but at the same time, just wasn't that exciting either. And then the year before was one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen with the Patriots and Rams, only 16 points being scored in the game. And getting to the next exciting game, which was the last exciting game, was Super Bowl 52, 5 years later, in my opinion, was the Eagles and Patriots. High-scoring game, two games going back and forth. And that's really what this game was tonight. Two good offenses battling. It's exactly what this game was tonight. And some defense involved. These defenses were definitely very well played as well tonight. The Chiefs scored a touchdown on their defense. So both teams were very involved on the defense. But, listen, both teams are great defenses. It's just their offense were so good that neither of their defense could handle the other offense. So this was an incredible game, and honestly, the best Super Bowl I've seen since Super Bowl 52 or Super Bowl 51. That Brady comeback against the Falcons was pretty exciting, especially it being in my hometown in Houston. So that was amazing. And then also the next year, the following year against the Eagles, that was a great Super Bowl. They were the underdogs, the Philly special. But then after those 2 years, it just hasn't felt like, the Super Bowls haven't been that great. They've been okay. Some of them have been exciting. The Chiefs 49ers was decent. Besides, that's none of these. Last year was okay. But this is truly the best Super Bowl I've seen in years. And what a great game. Let's start going over it with the game. Scoring summary. We had 73 points scored in this game. Incredible. There was the first two. There was already 14 points scored with like 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. These two offense started off fast, slowed down a little bit, but this was an exciting game for sure. All right, so basically, Eagles start off first drive with a Jalen Hurts 1-yard touchdown. 11-play, 75-yard drive, 7-0. But then, and that's with 10 minutes left. And then with the Chiefs, come right back, and Patrick Mahomes throws a touchdown pass to Travis Kelce from 18 yards. With this touchdown, he passes all-time touchdowns, passes Gronk. So definitely, not only Kelce winning another Super Bowl, but with that touchdown there, could we possibly be potentially talking about Kelce being better than Gronk? Who knows? But both players are extremely great players. So the Chiefs tied up at 7 with 7 minutes remaining. I thought it was 8. It was 7. And then the Eagles take the lead right at the start of the second quarter with a nice touchdown pass to A.J. Brown. You see him, sort of be really quiet throughout this playoffs, and him to make a statement catch like that was just amazing. Nice pass by Hurts as well from 45 yards to A.J. Brown to connect, and it was 7-14. Momentum starts to carry for the Eagles until it drops with a Nick Bolton 36-yard fumble return. This kid is really good. He's really good, and almost had 2 fumble returns. Personally, in my opinion, I thought it was an incompletion, but you can think other way. But it was a great hit on the second one. But at the same time, this Nick Bolton kid who ties it up at 14 with the 36-yard field goal, 36-yard fumble return, and also had another fumble return touchdown that was overturned. He's a good player. He's a really good player. But so the Chiefs tied up at 14 with 9.5 minutes to go. And then right before halftime, the Eagles go on a little bit of a good stretch to take a 10-point lead with 2 minutes and 20 seconds. They score a touchdown, Jalen Hurts from 4 yards. Then they get a 3-and-out and are able to score a 35-yard field goal to make it 24-14 going to halftime. So, and also Mahomes gets hurt on that last Chiefs drive, and he looks really hurt with that ankle injury. So momentum has started to change. The Chiefs had some momentum when they scored the touchdown to tie it. But then the Eagles score 2 quick scores. Mahomes gets hurt. Mahomes hurts his ankle, and it's looking really good for the Eagles. We're going into the second half after Rihanna's performance, which, funny thing is, actually, if you guys haven't heard this, Rihanna announced that she's pregnant, which is crazy. I mean, I kind of could tell. I was wondering. I think a lot of people were wondering. She looks a little pregnant, but she did announce that, which was, I don't know if anybody else saw the same thing. I mean, it was a decent halftime performance. You guys let me know your thoughts on the halftime performance. I was okay with it. I think it was probably a little better than last year, but I think it just depends on what type of genre you like of the music. But I approved it. But so going after, Rihanna's halftime performance, the third quarter starts. Chiefs go on I wouldn't say a long drive, because the Eagles went on a long drive that scored them a touchdown. The touchdown that Jalen Hurts, the 4-yard touchdown run that made it 21-14 that he had, was a 7-minute 19-second drive. This drive was Isaiah Pacheco, a 1-yard touchdown run, and it was a 5.5-minute drive. And so then that brings it to 3. Now with a little bit of time left going into the fourth quarter, 1:45, the Eagles increase the lead and make it one with a Jake Elliott 33-yard field goal, make it 21-27. And and what I'm about to say, it's a hot take, and you guys can disagree, you can agree, but over these next 2 scores, in my personal opinion, I don't believe that the Super Bowl MVP should have been Patrick Mahomes. That is my desperate opinion, that is my honest opinion. I do not think it should have been the Super Bowl MVP. I think, personally, this could sound crazy, but I think the Super Bowl MVP should have been Kadarius Toney. I mean, think about this. Let's go over the next two things that happened for the Chiefs. So the Chiefs drive, 9-play, 75-yard, down 6, 75-yard drive. Who puts it in the end zone? Patrick Mahomes, touchdown pass to Kadarius Toney for 5 yards. That's okay. That's not going to make him no Super Bowl MVP. Next drive for Chiefs defense, get a 3-and-out. They get a 3-and-out. They have to punt. They punt it to the Chiefs. And Kadarius Toney, once again, and this is the largest punt return in NFL Super Bowl history. Kadarius Toney has a 65-yard punt return to put it inside the 5-yard line for the Chiefs, and would eventually basically hand the Chiefs an 8-point lead when Patrick Mahomes throws a 4-yard touchdown pass to Sky Moore. I'm not saying the Chiefs would have not scored if Toney does have that kick return, but they basically put it in the end zone for the Chiefs with that touchdown, and it was a huge play. The punt return for Toney, the touchdown to give him the lead. Mahomes wasn't that great. I mean, he was okay. He was 21 for 27, 182, 3 touchdowns. And yes, he was good. But when it mattered, Toney did the big stuff. Scored the touchdown to give him the lead. The huge punt return. I feel like, it would have not happened, but I feel like Toney kind of deserved the Super Bowl MVP. Definitely Patrick Mahomes rightfully deserved, but Toney deserves some credit, because without Kadarius Toney, I don't think they would have won the Super Bowl, because that punt return was huge. That gives them an 8-point lead, but the Eagles are not done fighting. Jalen Hurts with a 4-minute drive, but that 5 minutes is way too much time for Mahomes. Jalen Hurts would another rushing touchdown for Jalen Hurts. 3 rushing touchdowns in this game for Jalen Hurts. a 2-yard touchdown run, and then another run for Jalen Hurts on the 2-point conversion ties it up at 35. So now we're tied up at 35. Chiefs go on a 5-minute, 7-second drive, and Harrison Butker knocks in the 27-yard field goal to not at the buzzer, but basically that would be the kick to win the Chiefs the Super Bowl. We'd get a kick, like a little squib kick, with 4 seconds remaining, and then we saw one final shot, which was batted down by the Chiefs defense. So that was the game-winning field goal. But let's go over game leaders. Mahomes, like I said, 21 for 27, 182 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 27 for 38, 304 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco, I can never get it right. I think Pacheco, 15 carries, 76 yards, 1 touchdown. Jalen Hurts was their leading rusher with 15 carries, 70 yards, and 3 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Receiving yards, Kelsey with 6 receptions, 81 yards, 1 touchdown. Devontae Smith, 7 receptions, 100 yards. Big game from Devontae. He was a great target for this one for the Eagles. There was 2 rookies guarding him. So, and AJ Brown had a decent game, but the more favorable target was definitely Devontae Smith. AJ had a good game too. 6 receptions, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. But Devontae had 1 more target. Brown had 8. Smith had 9. And have more receptions. He had 1 more reception and 1 more target. So both games by both players. Also, I think a very underrated player in this game was definitely Dallas Goedert. Had 6 receptions, 60 yards. Had some great catches for the Eagles in some of their scoring drives. Miles Sanders was not expected. He was expected to have a great game. Had 7 carries, 16 yards. But I think, a main part of that, of him not having a great game, his Gainwell was getting some carries. He had 7 carries, and also Hurts was running the ball a lot. But yeah, so, all right, that's really it for receiving. Gainwell had 4 receptions and 20 yards. Fumbles. So Jalen Hurts fumbles the ball, lost the fumble. Nick Bolton recovers for the end zone. Patrick Mahomes fumbled but recovered his own fumble, and that was really it. All right, defensive. Nick Bolton led the Chiefs in tackles. He was big for them in this game. Huge. 2 sacks for the Chiefs, 1 for Leo Canile and 1 for Colin Saunders, and then that was it. 2 tackles for loss for Willie Gay. So 5 tackles in total losses. Five total tackles for loss for the Chiefs. No sacks for the Eagles. This amazing defense led with Fletcher Cox, Hassan Reddick, just some of the guys that they have on their defense, and no sacks by that Eagles defense is crazy. But wow. And only 1 tackle for loss. That was Javon Hargrave. No interceptions in this game, and there was only 4 punts. I was betting there was going to be 3. But there was only 4 punts in this game. That's how good of an offense of a game this was. There was only 4 punts, 2 by each teams. And Kadarius Toney, you got those punt returns right there. 2 punt returns, 77 yards, 65 was the longest. Super Bowl history right there. Honestly, I think he should have been crowned with MVP, but that's just my opinion. You guys, let me your thoughts on the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. I wanted the Eagles to win, but I'm happy Mahomes gets a second one. Does this count? Does this put Mahomes in the top? People saying now that Mahomes has his second Super Bowl, he's top 5 in quarterbacks, but I don't think so. With you got Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana. I still put Dan Marino over Mahomes just because he's so young. Drew Brees. I'd say Mahomes, this gets him to at least top 7, top 8. He's just because of how young of age. By the time Mahomes retires, he can be even higher than top 5. I could see Mahomes being top 3 by the time he retires. He's just too young. What is this? He's going into his 6th or 7th season next season. I think he's going into his 6th season next season. So, Mahomes really young, and definitely this helps his resume, but he's not top 5 yet. But definitely helps. But second Super Bowl MVP. Also his second MVP because he won Super Bowl this season. So a lot of twos. 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 MVPs. Good season for Mahomes. A lot of doubters because they traded Tyreek Hill. No one thought they'd be that great. And Travis Kelce said it after they won. No one thought we would be here. Or no one thought we would win it either. And they did it. So happy for some of those guys on the Chiefs team. I just really like this Eagles all-around team and really want to see them win. But I think the Eagles are coming back strong next year. They have some draft picks. They have the Saints draft pick, which is like 10th, and they have their own, which is like 31st. So they have 2 first-round picks. For a team that's in the Super Bowl to have a team who lost in this, for a team who was in the Super Bowl to have a top 10 pick and then also have another first-round pick that's in the 31, honestly, that's pretty amazing. So you got a Super Bowl team adding in some talent with 2 first-round picks. One is late draft, one is top 10. So this Eagles team can get better, really get better in the draft. So honestly, if I'm the Eagles, I'm looking for a running back, though. Maybe they can add in Longhorn Bijan Robinson. Who knows what this Eagles team does next, but I don't know. I'm not going to predict they're back in the big game, but I definitely think this Eagles team is coming back, and they're going to be better than ever. You guys let me know your thoughts on the game. Chiefs are Super Bowl champions and beat the Philadelphia Eagles 38-35. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.